circle?
Okay, so my name is Charles Mallet. I've been researching crop circle phenomena and related subject matter for 11 years now. Slightly more on the related subject matter side. In 1997 I first came to look at the crop circles and was highly impressed with what I was looking at on the ground here in southern England, and in fact moved to this area to study the subject full time. And a couple of years later opened this information centre where people come from all over the world to get their information, to visit the crop circle. So now we're in the middle of the circle, so to speak, which is a fairly amazing place to be.
How many people come through this part of the country in a year, in a season?
It kind of grows every year. I would say through this current summer, probably around about 10,000 people maybe.
Wow.
From pretty much every country you can care to mention. I mean, everywhere there seems to be a section of the global community that are converging on this one subject, on this one point, for some kind of intrinsic reasoning that makes no rational sense whatsoever. But thousands of people are coming here to look at more than flattened patches of wheat. The crop circles, they're like a catalyst for this kind of section of people. They seem to turn a key, they seem to activate something. It's kind of like Close Encounters, where all of a sudden these people are getting this thing in their mind and they have to go to this place and they just know that there's something amazing, something important, not quite sure what, but it's there, and they come.
Actually, I felt that way myself. So. But what do you make of it? Who would you, I mean, you've been studying it for all these years, who would you guess what is behind it?
Behind the actual circles?
Yeah, who's actually doing it? Where do they come from?
I mean, we can disregard a proportion of it as human-made, hoaxing, silly rubbish, nothing interesting at all. So we can disregard that proportion as, and it's an unspecified proportion, because to get an accurate understanding of how much here is hoaxed by people, you would need to be at every single circle at dawn and physically examine every single circle, which is obviously that's pretty impossible. Yeah. But nevertheless, a fairly smallish proportion show to have the physical traces, which suggest there's a mechanical methodology behind it. The rest of the circles here and from around the world, and this includes, as well as wheat and barley and oilseed rape canola here, around the world, these things are appearing in grass, in rice paddies, in snow, in ice, and trees. Trees as thick as my arm, bent over, perfectly growing along the ground. And you wouldn't knock those down for a piece of wood. I believe that there is certainly some kind of communication here, which is most probably interdimensional. And I think this stuff, these entities, these orbs, these beings, I think they're here all the time, basically. I think my personal feeling is, from my own observations and my own feeling and my own experiences, that something is tuning into our physical reality, into our three-dimensional space, isolating an area within the landscape for whatever reason, knocking down a pattern, and the subsequent effect is the subsequent effect that it has on people and on the land, which seems to be some form of energetic influence.
But they've grown in their complexity. It seems to be a language, would you say?
There does seem as if we take the modern phenomena from 1978, even though there are recorded events from much earlier than that for sure, but if we just take this modern section for simplicity, there's certainly a narrative there. It's like a very, very subtle ongoing communication, but there's so much of it happening in such a massive way that, if you think we've had 30 formations, crop circle formations in this neighbourhood, probably within 20 miles radius of our current position here at Compton Bassett, almost every day it's almost too many to kind of get one happens, it's amazing, and you barely get a grip on that, and then there's 2 or 3 the following night, and then there's another one the next day. It all happens kind of too quickly. So it's hard to get a grip, but suffice to say, from 78 to 98, there's a continuous development and evolution and a narrative, and you can tentatively see the narrative starting with very simple symbolism up to high-grade mathematics, geometry of a high order. This is not the kind of stuff that people can fall out of a bar and knock it down for a bit of fun. It just doesn't happen like that. It's not the real world. So there is a continuing narrative, and a communication, but everybody's reading this differently, everybody's feeling it differently. In a way, it's like the perfect contact situation. Human free will is employed. All you need to do is see the images, visit them, and just feel them, and just that's very, very simple process. Bypasses media, social conditioning, religion. There's no faith required here. The facts and figures are on the table, and people can actually just find it for themselves. So to me, they're like a catalyst, a doorway, an opening point, and that's exactly how they seem to work. People will come here, they'll start looking for crop circles, and before long they're researching the nature of being human, quantum physics, who's ripping off the world, political dynamics, who really blew up the World Trade Center. All of this kind of stuff is very healthy, and it doesn't require anybody telling one what's what or what's real and what's not. It's a personal journey. It's a kind of a personal investigation into the nature of human potential, if you will.
Great. That's good stuff. Thank you.
Is that
Good. Yeah, that's
cool?
We'll do more some other time. But
Cool.
That's a good introduction to the whole
Excellent.
thing. I appreciate that.
You need any more snippets anytime.
Yeah, well,